Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Roziur Teraputra with NPM G1D020021. I want to speak and reading in English. CNN, the US on Wednesday report record numbers for COVID-19 cases, hospitalization, and deaths ahead of a key meeting for what could be the country's second COVID-19 vaccine to get the green light. Vaccine advisor to the Food and Drug Administration will meet Thursday to discuss Moderna's vaccine and official expect speedy emergency use authorization process, even faster than last week for the Pfizer vaccine. Hundreds of American healthcare workers have received their first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, and many states have announced they also expecting nursing home resident vaccination to begin the week. And on Wednesday, the FDA said people administering that vaccine might squeeze out extra dose from the fields if there is leftover solution them after giving the standard 5 doses. Politico was forced to report that some pharmacists found they could get 6 and possible even 7 doses of vaccine out of fails, which are each designed to provide 5 doses of vaccine. An FDA spokeswoman told CNN the agency was aware of the issue and working with Pfizer to determine the best path forward. At this time, given the public health emergency, FDA is advising that it is acceptable to use every full dose obtainable, the 6 or possible even a 77th from each field, pending resolution of the issue, the spokeswoman said. However, since the fields are preservative-free, it is critical to note that any further remaining product that does not constitute a full dose should not be pulled from multiple fields to create one. More than 2.9 million doses were allocated to states for the first Pfizer vaccine doses, according uh, to a list published Wednesday by the Centers for the Disease Control and Prevention. Another more than 2.9 million will be available for second doses about 21 days later. The first vaccination and a possible green light for Moderna are all good news, but the pandemic raging in the US is still far from over and more brutal than over. Wednesday saw grim number all across the high COVID-19 infection and death ever reported in a single day. And the most COVID-19 hospitalization country has seen since the start of the pandemic. Mm, More than 247 new cases were reported. More than 113 Americans are hospitalized with the virus, according to the COVID tracking project, and more than uh, uh, 300 uh, 3,600 deaths were added to the national death toll. Still at a dangerous and critical part in pandemic, will there be some progress in slowing the spread of the virus in the northern and central US. According to the White House Coronavirus Task Force, cases are still surging in more populated states. Stabilization in the northern plains, upper Midwest, and some Rocky Mountain and Heartland state is being offset by significant that deterioration deterioration in more populous states. Uh, a report sent to states by the task force and obtained by CNN said, and now Americans have important costs to make. The upcoming holidays could help drive another surge of cases, hospitalization, and inevitable deaths if people opt to travel and gather again. Despite a warning from the CDC before Thanksgiving, urging against travel, more than 4 million spent the holiday away from home. In California, where Los Angeles County Health officials continue to report exploding case number, Health Service Director Dr. Christina Gali attributed the surge to residents gathering over the Thanksgiving holiday despite repeated pleas to stay home. And the worst is yet to come, Gali added, saying, we are still in for a very rough few weeks and least and potentially through January. Um, Governor across the Northeast and Midwest issued a video message this week encouraging residents to double down on safety measures and reconsider their holiday plans. Uh, if you are planning to travel or gather with other household for the holidays, we urging you to reconsider, the governor said. This one infection can cause an outbreak in your community, which could overwhelm our hospital and put you and your loved ones at risk. In hopes of helping curb to the spread around the holidays, El Paso County Chief Ricardo Samaniego announced curfews from 10 p.m. to 5 p.m., lasting from December 23 to December 26, and from December 30 to January 4 for January. What people need to know is we are still at a dangerous and critical part of this pandemic, and then and tens of thousands of American lives are at stake. ADM Brett Giroir, Assistant Secretary for Health and the Department of Health and Human Services, said Wednesday, if you can avoid driving, that's a good measure, he added. More COVID-19 at home tests authorized. Meanwhile, the FDA also issued an emergency use authorization Wednesday for another at-home COVID-19 test. This one of about Pinox now COVID-19 egg at-home test. The test is authorized for prescription use at home will self-collected nasal swab sample from individual egg 15 years or older who are suspect of COVID-19 by their health uh, care provider within the first 7 days of symptom onset. The agency said in the statement, adults can take a sample for younger children. Abbott has said the new test will cost $25. FDA continues to authorize COVID-19 tests that will give more Americans access to greater testing flexibility and option. FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn said in a statement. Uh, becomes a day after the FDA also gave emergency use authorization to a $30 over the country test made by alum the people can take home and give of themselves. On Wednesday, Giro said they will likely be more good news from the FDA soon about other home tests that are not exactly the over-the-counter tip but are in the same ballpark. You will see more and more tests get authorized and then ramping up very soon in early part of the year, he added. Uh, Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.